Alright, so what's up, guys? Back on the Burgman 200 today, and I'm at 3,461 miles, so it's perfect time to do the 3,500 mile review. So far, still very satisfied with this machine. I think I'm going to clickbait the title to something along the lines of, is the Burgman 200 a good commuter scooter? And reason being, that's the way I use it, so that's the way I'm going to kind of refer to how it's treated me. That being said, if you have to do a lot of highway, I don't think it would be a very great commuter scooter. I think it's just a hair too small on the displacement side of things. And when I say highway, I'm mainly talking interstate. 2-lane highway, anywhere but Texas, where the speed limit's not 80 on a 2-lane highway or 85 or 90 in some sections of the interstate. It's like, yeah, it can do the speed limit. Like 75 mile an hour interstate, yeah, you can do the speed limit. So far, I mean, like right now I'm getting 81.5 miles to the gallon, but when someone generally asks me about it, if I'm pumping gas or if I'm talking to somebody at work and they ask me about it, 85 and 85 is what I tell them. The Burgman 200 is good for a top speed of 85 miles an hour, and it's good for a MPG of 85 as well. If you're really dogging the thing on the highway, I tend to get more down around 72 to 75 range, and since I commute on it, I ride it every day regardless of temperature, with the exception of if it gets below freezing and if it's raining. I'm not riding in the rain. What I've noticed is the scooter actually gets better MPGs as the weather gets hotter. The dog days of summer, like what we're in right now, I'll get middle high 70s on average. Right now I'm getting 82, but it's just because I just filled up and I haven't been on the highway yet. But in the wintertime, it doesn't get as good. So I don't know if that's, I imagine, obviously the engine's going to run a few degrees warmer in the summertime, and that's going to cause the oil to be a little bit thinner and lower, less viscous, lower viscosity. And it is a small displacement engine, so engine viscosity or engine oil viscosity could really make a difference on your MPGs and things of that nature. But that's a whole nother thing. So, is it good as a commuter bike? It's great as long as you don't have to get on the interstate. I can go multiple days. I've got a 60-mile round trip to work. I don't have to worry about fuel until I get up around 160 miles. That leaves me with usually at least a half gallon. So I've got a good 40-ish, 35 miles to get to whatever gas station I need to get to, which is further than half of my commute anyway. So that's great. If you've got a city commute, you probably fill this thing up once a month or something. If you commuted locally in your town to your job. So it's got great amenities. You've got it's nice having the glove boxes. I leave my keys in the glove box at work. I have enough storage with the Suzuki factory top case on the back to be able to leave my helmet, my jacket, my riding pants, my gloves, everything with the bike. And I park in an area of my work where I'm not worried about someone coming off the street and stealing it. That's not going to happen. So I just leave my keys in this upper right little cubby hole. I've got a charging port. All bikes got the 12 volt in the lower glove box, so that's great. If I do need to charge my phone riding to or from work, I've got the ability to do that. And you've got tons of storage. Gas is cheap. Insurance is cheap. The bike itself relatively cheap, especially if you buy used like I did. So what is there not to love about it as a commuter bike? It's been great. I did the first service on it, which is not due until 3,600 miles. I jumped the gun. I say first service of me owning the bike, not its first 600 mile service. So I jumped the gun on that a little bit because I got a bunch of things coming up in the next few weeks, and I had some free time last week. So I did that. That was the first time I've serviced it. It was extremely easy. I've got a video of that full service, and it's a very comprehensive service. Goes in real good detail for people who maybe never serviced a bike of any kind before, much less a scooter. So yeah, there it is in a nutshell. Short, sweet, quick. I love it. It's perfect. Don't see myself getting rid of it anytime soon. And I'm actually about to do my first 2-up trip on it because the wife needs to go to town to get some stuff, and we had to take the scooter because we need storage. So I'll let you know how that goes in a later video. Alright, just finished up roughly 45 or so miles 2-up, which is the first time I've ever ridden this thing 2-up, to be honest. I don't think one lap around the driveway counts with my wife on the back, like the day I brought it home. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, great commuter. To be honest with you, it did great 2-up. After doing highway at 70 to 75 miles an hour, indicated, I'm still getting, with a passenger, 77.5 miles to the gallon. So, back to the whole commuter thing, that's fantastic. That's with an extra undisclosed amount of weight on the back. So, that's fantastic. I wasn't expecting it to do that good on such a fast highway with added weight and some groceries and shopping items also in the top case on the rear and under the seat. So the only downside of that is the weight with the suspension. I cranked up the preload 1 click, which puts me, I can go one more stiffer preload setting if I so chose. And if I ever ride it 2-up again, I will definitely go up one more preload setting. I don't think we ever bottomed out, and we hit some decent bumps. I don't think we ever bottomed out the rear, but we were definitely had to be close a time or two, and the extra preload would be nice to keep it from being raked out. I could definitely tell I was raked out a little more, just riding. And also my rear tire is probably a couple PSI low from what it should be normally. And then the added weight of a passenger just makes that much more pronounced. So yeah, 3,500 miles. I've probably passed 3,500 now. Right on it, 34.96. So I'll be passing 3,500 on the route home here. Couldn't be happier. Like I said, the service on it was a breeze. The oil change, I haven't checked the air filter yet, and the transmission isn't due for an oil change on it until the 6,000 mile interval. But I'm sure those will be equally as easy of a service as this oil change was. To be honest with you, I haven't even washed the thing since I bought it. Not even so much as wiped it off with a damp rag, and it still looks great in passing, so everything's holding up well. I do keep the interior portion. I have put one coat of not wax, but like your kind of Armor All type coating. I have cleaned it with that, just to try to help keep some of this plastic stuff from fading. But the scooter's holding up well. And is it a good commuting scooter? Absolutely, as long as you're not having to get on the interstate. That's the only caveat. If you had to get on the interstate, and I'm not talking about like congested downtown like California interstate, I'm talking about like out on the open highway interstate, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd want more underneath me as far as a physical road presence is concerned, and I want a little more motor underneath me. Maybe a Yamaha X-Max, and then the next step up from that would, in the Jap world anyway, would be the Burgman 400. But anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, so I will sign off here. And if you have any questions about what it's been like to live with the Burgman 200 for 3,500 miles, using it as a work commuter, 60 miles on a 65 mile per hour highway, round trip every day, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to answer your questions. But till next time,